Hey, this is Mike from Inputflow, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can create progress indicator steps for your multi-step Webflow forms. So as you can see, if I click through this form, you can see at the top we have these progress indicator steps. First one says home, then cleaning type, add-ons, additional info, and done. And as I click through the form, the active progress indicator step changes depending on what form step is currently active. You can see right now it's the cleaning type because that's the section of the form we're currently in. But if I proceed through the form, now we're in the add-ons section. So for example, do you want window cleaning? This step is associated with the add-ons progress indicator step. Or the next one, choose additional services. So that's also the add-ons section. And as we proceed through the form, at one point we'll get to the additional info step. And once we submit the form, just fill out some random data. Once we submit the form, you will see the final step, the final progress indicator step, done, is now also marked as completed. Those steps are really helpful for your website visitors that fill out the form because it gives them an exact idea where they currently are in the form and gives them some sort of orientation, which tends to be really good for conversion rates. Okay, let's see how you can implement these progress indicator steps in Inputflow. So right here, I have my Webflow project with a multi-step form that has been configured with Inputflow. Here on the left side, we have all of the steps of the multi-step form below each other. Up here, I've already created these elements. They are right now not connected to Inputflow, and we're going to do that together. But before that, I would like to give you a quick overview of the structure. So right here, you can see I have this wrapper element called configurator progress steps, and it has all of the progress steps, the individual progress steps inside of it. And this wrapper element is a normal Webflow div block with the layout set to display flex so that all of the steps are aligned next to each other. And then inside of this wrapper, we have the actual progress indicator steps. And these are also just very basic div blocks with a text block element inside of it. So here we have the div block with the class and then the text block inside of it. That's all. Okay, now to connect these progress indicator steps to Inputflow so that they are actually being activated and controlled by Inputflow, we just have to click on them individually. So I select the first progress indicator step. And then in the Inputflow Elements Manager, down here we have these two new buttons, Progress Bar and Progress Step. The Progress Bar I talked about in the last video. In this case, we're going to use the Progress Step. So I select the first one, click on Progress Step, and now we get the message, turned element into a progress step. And here it says selected element is a progress step. And now comes the most important part. We have to connect these progress indicator steps to actual form steps. So I click on this button right here, connect form steps, and now we get a list of all of our form steps of our multi-step form that we have right here. So this first progress indicator step called home, I want this to be active if this home details step is displayed. With the first step, the start, this is this one right here. I don't want any of the progress indicator steps to be active, so I don't connect anything here. Then I go to the second step, the second progress indicator step. Also click the button, turn it into a progress step, and then connect form steps again. Okay, so I want the second progress indicator step, cleaning type, to be active if the form steps cleaning type, which is this one right here, is visible, or if the one-time cleaning package, which is this one right here, is visible, or if the cleaning frequency step is visible, or if the do you have pets step is visible. All of that decides what cleaning type we need, so I think this is good to associate it with this cleaning type progress indicator steps. You can think of these progress indicator step like a category or an overall section where the user is currently inside of a form. You can connect them to a single form step, like we did with the first one. We only connected it to the home details. But as you can see with the second one, we connected it with multiple ones. So this is also possible. Let's go to the add-ons, the third one. So I also turn this into a progress indicator step. You know the drill by now. I click on Connect Form Steps, and I want the add-ons indicator step to be active if the window cleaning is the active step, which is this one right here, or any of the additional services steps down here are visible, because all of that belongs to the add-ons category. Okay, then I select the fourth one, additional info, turn it into a progress step, connect the form steps, and I want this to be active if the additional requirements step, this one right here, is visible, or if the contact details step is visible. Both of these belong to the additional info progress indicator step. And this last one, I don't have to connect this to any form step because the last progress indicator step is automatically activated once the form has been submitted. So Inputflow does that for you. You don't have to connect this to anything. You just have to turn this into a progress step. Okay, let's publish this to the live website and have a look. I reload the page. And now, as you can see, as I click through the form, nothing happens with regards to these progress indicator step. Yes, we have this progress bar here at the top, but this works independently. This is not relevant for these steps. The steps do not change, even though we just connected all of them to the relevant form steps. And why is that? The reason is quite simple. A few moments ago, when we connected all of the progress indicator steps to actual form steps, I always said, okay, we want this indicator step to be active if this and that step is visible. But what do I mean by active? By active, I mean Inputflow adds a combo class. That's all Inputflow does. So for example, if this cleaning type progress indicator is active, then Inputflow will add an isActive class to it. So we can style the active state of such a progress indicator step by adding an isActive class. So I'm going to add this isActive class. And to show that a step is active, I'm going to give it a background color. Something like this. Perfect. So now it's very clear that this is the active step. And let's publish this. And now you can see if I click through the form, we're at the home details step, and the home progress indicator step is now being displayed as active. If we proceed, let's make some settings here. So the validation passes. You can see now we're at the cleaning type progress indicator step. And if we proceed again, now we're at the add-ons progress indicator step. And all Inputflow does, whatever progress indicator step is active, it adds this isActive class. And this way you have full design control over it. However, remember in the beginning, the setup we had was by default, all of these progress indicator steps are kind of faded out a little bit. And only once they're completed, they're faded back in. And the way to do this is quite simple. You just select any of the progress indicator steps that don't have a combo class applied to it and set the class effects opacity to, let's say, 15%. And then we have to go back to our combo class is active. When it's active, we set it back to 100%. And now, if we publish it again, reload the page, you can see now by default, all of them are faded out. And if I click through the form, now the first one is being activated and shown. Now the second one is active. And now the third one is active, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. Now there's one last thing which I don't like about this, and that is, ideally, I want these steps that are completed already. I also want to apply a styling here. And you can do that with Inputflow as well. But instead of adding an isActive combo class, you add an isCompleted combo class. And then you can add styling to it. So let's say I want to bring the opacity back to 100%. And then by default, all of the completed steps will be shown with an opacity of 100%. The active step will be shown with an opacity of 100% and the background, and all of the other steps will be just shown with this opacity 15%. Now you might ask yourself, okay, where do these combo classes come from that Inputflow adds to these progress indicator steps. So where does the name come from? And the answer is quite simple. If we go to the form editor and then go to the form settings, down here is a new setting called combo classes for progress indicator steps. And here you can define which name they should have. By default, the active class is called isActive and the completed class is completed, but you can name them whatever you want. If you want to name them C__completed, you can do that. Also, keep in mind that you have full design control here, so you can do whatever you want. This setup right here that I have, where by default the opacity is at 15%, and then if it's active, it has a background, and if it's completed, it has an opacity of 100%. This is just one example. You can do whatever you want. Remember, this is Webflow, you have full control. So for example, you could do something like this. If these progress indicator steps should be displayed below each other, you can select the wrapper element and change the flex direction, something like this. Again, you can do whatever you would like to do. And finally, for the really advanced people, what you can also do, Inputflow not only adds the combo class to the progress indicator step itself, but also to all of its children element. That means that you could, for example, have a number here when a step is not completed yet, and then, based on the combo classes, set it up in a way that this number would be replaced with a checkbox element, for example, with a checkbox icon once a step has been completed. Things like that are possible because the combo classes isActive and isCompleted are also applied to all child elements of the progress indicator step. And as you can see in this example right here, you can use these progress indicator steps together with the progress bar. You don't have to, they work independently. You can only use the progress bar, you can only use the progress indicator steps, whatever you feel like works best with your individual form.